This is a special event. It is the Heisman Trophy of defense. It is the award that gives back to a side of the ball that doesn't get as much glory. Thank you, Charlotte.
What a high level of excellence Bronco Nagurski brought to the game. He's an inspiration to anyone who loves the game of football.
My football story is not about playing for the Carolina Panthers. My football story is from the time I was 5 years old. All I ever wanted to do was play for Wayne Hills High School in northern New Jersey.
I was a part of something, and the purpose of what we were working for was greater than any one of us.
Come out every day to compete, and the only way we can get better is we, compete against each other hard.
It's important to note that sometimes the signs that we ask for are right there in front of us. Win or lose, there was always a message in there. It's about what we do with the adversity we face.
You can have a dream, but you better be prepared for that opportunity.
I want to thank you all once again for the millions of dollars that you have contributed. And I know while the focus of the Charlotte Touchdown Club might be football, the money that you provide enables multiple sports to benefit.
It's a lot of hard work. I mean, it's nothing is given. I mean, you have to earn everything.
Honored to be here today. You do such wonderful work. The funds you raise for scholarships around the area, that's wonderful.
A very heartfelt thank you to members of the Touchdown Club for your support of 16,000 plus students who you all are impacting annually. Studies show that GPAs and graduation rates are higher, absences and dropout rates are lower.
What I've learned in my life is you can accomplish anything in this world. If you want to do something bad enough, you'll find a way.
But it's important that everybody in this room and beyond understands that it starts with us. You see these kids on the come up, you gotta let them know.
Football was a gladiator sport. Only gladiators play football.
Tonight, you are going to get a glimpse of excellence of our finalists and what they have brought to this game. Their dedication, passion, and brute strength, along with their ability to make key plays during crucial moments in big games.
I believe that football is the greatest game that there is. It's the only game where people of all sizes, of all shapes, of all different talent levels can come together. And everyone have to execute their job. And I believe young people should play it. I believe it builds character. It teaches us how to sacrifice and be humble.
Life is all about when you get punched in the gut, finding a way to get up and dust yourself off and get back in the ring and just keep swinging, son. Just keep swinging.
Be here, be back in North Carolina, see all you Wolfpackers and all you others again. What you do with this organization, with John and so many that contribute, it really is awesome. Because as we all know, sports, it may be more important now than it's ever been. These high schools and what it's doing to help facilitate and bring joy and some discipline and virtue. It's awesome.
And I think football is a lens and a window to our world, to our society when it comes to team. When you talk about together, everybody achieves more. There's nothing on that football field that's of accomplishment without the work of 10 other men.
Actually came in a couple years and worked at Rock Hill.
Learn a different discipline with each sport that you play, or different disciplines. You also get a chance to be around different kids with each sport, so you become more of a social chameleon.
Believe in you, believe in who you are and what you are, and it's a lot easier to make those decisions. And don't be afraid of the adversity. Sometimes the adversity is exactly what you need in order to succeed.
Football Writers Association of America and the Charlotte Touchdown Club are proud to present the 2020 Bronco Nagurski Trophy to Zaven Collins from the University of Tulsa.
Thank you to the Football Writers Association for presenting me this trophy and selecting me to be the Nagurski winner. Thank you to the Charlotte Touchdown Club and Lending Tree for entrusting with me and putting my name on the trophy. It really means a lot to me.
Growing up around the game, I have a deep and abiding respect for those who have paved the way. Bronco Nagurski was a true pioneer of our game.
All right, good afternoon. Hello. Charlotte Touchdown Club, how you doing today? Good. Hey, football season's back. Are you excited about that? Yes? We have college football fans here? We got some trivia later. We'll do some Panther trivia later. Does anyone know what happened on this date 15 years ago today? Where's my Mountaineer people? App State, Michigan, huh? How about it, 15 years ago? What's that? We're taking questions here live with the audience. Real Mountaineer. Backyard Brawl is tonight. That's a big one too, yeah. Pitt and West Virginia. App State's got what? North Carolina coming up on Saturday? Got Char people here today too? Always. You have to do an event without them. I'm Jim Szoke from the Carolina Panthers Radio Network and WBT Radio. You know who our keynote speaker is, Jake Delhomme of radio fame. Played football here too, you might remember that. But current radio partner with us. We want to thank our media partner, Radio 1 Charlotte. You've got Willie P. and Colin out there on WFNZ doing their show right now. Also, of course, our host, Hickory Tavern and Char Bar 7. We appreciate you and all of our Charlotte Touchdown Club sponsors for being here today. I mentioned you got Jake Delhomme. We have got things to give away later on. First up, though, business to be handled with Rodney Brodnax, our Charlotte Touchdown Club Board of Director. Welcome, Roddy, to the stage. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our 25th annual Carolina Kickoff to the Charlotte Touchdown Club football season. We've been honored to work with the Panthers for over 25 years, and so great to have Jake Delhomme here today. So it's going to be a great kickoff for all of us. But before we get started, I'd like to share a couple things. First, over this 25-year period, we have raised and distributed over $3 million because of you to our local area high school sports and small colleges in the Carolinas. So give yourself a round of applause for all you've done for the club. Quick reminder, December 5th, we have the Bronco Nagurski Awards. And the Bronco Nagurski Award is the College Football Defensive Player of the Year as voted on by the Sports Writers of America. So we're honored to have it here in Charlotte. It's going to be at the Crown Ballroom in the Charlotte Convention Center. So we hope you'll dust off your tux, get your cocktail dress ready, come down and join us. We anticipate a sold-out crowd. We're going to have head coach from NC State, Dave Doran, as our keynote speaker. So a lot of Wolfpack people will be there. Also, we're going to be giving out the Bronco Nagurski Legends Award to Hugh Green, who in 1980 with Pittsburgh, I'm a Gamecock. We had George Rogers in 1980. We went head-to-head with those guys. Mark, you remember that? So we'll be glad to have Hugh Green in town. Also, once again, we're going to be broadcast live on CBS Sports Network. So a big night for us on December 5th. Also, we've got a couple of other sponsorships still available for the Bronco Nagurski Awards. We've expanded a few different ones. So if you're interested, please contact our director, John Rocco, and get yourself involved in the Bronco. Also, we have two companies that we'd like to recognize right now that have stepped up to do sponsorships. Bayheckle Sports, in partnership with the Charlotte Touchdown Club, is pleased to sponsor the High School Student Athlete of the Year Award. This award recognizes the on and off field, reflecting the mission and values of Bayheckle Communications, which is our goal to highlight these student athletes. Steve Poston with Bayheckle, we appreciate you coming on board and look forward to working with you and your team. Also, I saw the guys from First National Bank over here. They're going to come on. They're a longtime supporter. We appreciate you guys. They're bringing on the High School Coach of the Year Award. So Brad Jones and your team at First National, thank you very much. So much to say, and we're looking forward to hear Jake today. But last but not least, as you see us scroll across with the different sponsors, please support our sponsors and make sure that we keep our money here with the people that spend money with us. And once again, thank you and enjoy the luncheon.
Roddy, you want your water? Here, catch. First throw of the day. All right, time for our invocation. Shannon Powell from the Life Coach and Campus Director, Fellowship of Christian Athletes at Wingate University with us today. So welcome Shannon to the stage. Shannon.
I would invite you to pray with me. John, thank you for the honor of allowing me to pray for us today. Would you join me as we give thanks? Dear gracious Heavenly Father, the scriptures remind us that this is the day that the Lord has made. So let us rejoice and be glad in it. Today is certainly a day of celebration. Today we mark new beginnings. Lord, may this season bring us a new day of looking forward, new dreams to dream, and a renewed hope for great things to come. But in the midst of the busyness and the excitement of this day, Lord, we wish to pause, to reflect. We want to give thanks to you for your goodness and your grace. For our meal today, we ask for your blessings. May it be a nourishment to our bodies. We ask that you would bless the hands that prepared this food and the ones who are so graciously serving it to us even now. Father, we also seek your blessing over our fellowship together. May you bless every participant, every staff member, every coordinator, and every sponsor that made today's event possible. Lord, let us not forget that you have made us a great nation. And even as we celebrate our freedoms in this country, which we so deeply love, we beg for your hand of protection. Lord, to guard not only our land, but those who so willingly lay their lives on the line each and every day to protect her. And finally, Lord, as in the words of your great servant Moses, I pray this blessing over each person here today. And may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you. And may he be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. We pray these things in the name of our Father, of Christ the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen and amen.
Thank you, Shannon. All right, lunchtime. We'll be back up in about 25 minutes, and we'll talk to you then. All right, folks, we're going to get back to our lunch work here. Appreciate y'all being here today. Coconut cake was the star of lunch, I think. Very nice. Thank you again to our 70 Touchdown Club sponsor team members highlighted on the video screens. You want to get out your raffle tickets as we have 4 items to give away. All of them autographed by Jake Delhomme. And when your number is called, just come forward. Jenna's got it for you here, your prize. And Jake Delhomme for a photo op with you when you come on down. And the first item is a Jake Delhomme autographed Carolina Panthers football helmet. Winning number is 9906899. 9906899. It's a lot of numbers. Anybody got that one? Please? I don't want to read it again. 9906899. Yes? In the back, come on forward. Congratulations. We love when people in the back of the room win. Yeah, congratulations. Let's hear for all of our servers taking a great job bringing lunch today. How about that? Nice. They're on it. Good service. All right. I'm trying to pre-mix them up so no one has to yell mix them up. Next one will be Jake Delhomme. Football autograph. Come see Jenna with the winning number, 9906705. 9906705. Did I hear cheering? Come on up. Let's hear it for our winner. Congratulations, sir. Come on. We need a bigger bowl, I think, next time. This isn't nearly big enough. Next number. This is for a Jake Delhomme mini helmet. Smaller helmet than usual. 9906539. 9906539. Anybody in these 4 walls? Anybody? 9906539. Winner, come on up, sir. Congratulations. All right. And we got one more. Mixing them up. Rest of the program moves much more quickly than this will. We got games tonight. Remind you, by the way, place your bids on today's silent auction items. All the bids will be taken 10 minutes following the conclusion of the luncheon, including the Carolina Panthers luxury suite for the December 24th Panthers-Lions game. That's a $22,000 value. Opening bid of $11,000. All proceeds benefit the Charlotte Touchdown Club Scholarship Fund. Our fourth and final item, autographed by Jake Delhomme, 2021 Bronco Nagurski football. Actually, the commemorative football, my bad. Also comes with the game program. 9906563. 9906563. Not seeing anybody jumping around yet. 9906563. Anybody? I tried twice. All right, got it? All right, we got a winner. Come on up, sir. Congratulations. I know, it's a lot of numbers. Let's hear it for all of our winners. Good job. All right, while they're doing that, let's move on to the next thing. At your table, it's the commemorative giveaway. One winner at each table. The winner of the football centerpiece, the football, autographed by Jake Delhomme, is the guest that's got the program with the Panthers "You Are the Winner" sticker on the inside front cover next to NC State head coach Dave Doran's image. So look for Dave Doran. If you've got the sticker that says you are the winner, you are in fact a winner. Although you're all winners, just only one person can have the football. All right. Congratulations, all you winners. All right, folks, we're going to keep on going. Get you out of here for Labor Day weekend. We have some former Carolina Panthers in attendance. Thank you to Steve Israel, Rod Smith, Mike Delaney for being here. Our many high school and middle school principals, coaches, and athletic directors, thank you all for being here today. Hey guys, last but not least, let's give a warm welcome to all of our current and former U.S. military heroes in attendance today. If you all could please stand so we can salute you and thank you. Thank you all for being here today. We thank you for your service. As you know, number 17, quarterback Jake Delhomme is our guest speaker. And as always, before we bring Jake up, let's take a look at a short video of the life and times of Jake Delhomme.
Where I came from, nothing was handed to me. You know, I was lucky enough to get a jock and sock and shorts, you know, when I first got to New Orleans. You know, I was the guy that's, you could go throw on the side. You know, I was that guy. And I don't think there's any doubt that stays with you. That burns inside, you know, in the off season, in training camp, and in games. And, you know, you just, it keeps me going, and that's what I like.
I wanted a chance to play quarterback in the NFL.
I mean, certainly we were disappointed that we didn't win. The only time I've ever been given a true opportunity was in Carolina.
I got that chance, and I think I made the most of it.
From Louisiana Lafayette, his first game, you saw the highlights there, coming in week 1, 2003 against Jacksonville, that touchdown to Ricky Prohl. Began with the Saints. We found him, brought him here to the Panthers. Finished up with Cleveland and Houston after a stint with NFL Europe. And that Super Bowl toss you saw to Masin Muhammad, the longest in Super Bowl history, 85 yards. He is in the Panthers Hall of Honor, our Carolina Panthers Radio Rookie of the Year 2019, Jake Delhomme, everybody.
Good afternoon. It's an honor to be here. I want to thank the Charlotte Touchdown Club for asking me to come back and say a few words, and we'll have a little Q&A a little bit with Jim Szoke and I, and I'm going to do my best to try to hide my Louisiana accent. I come to Charlotte starting a great deal now that the season has begun, so needless to say, I haven't been back since the season ended, so I'm going to try my best. I'm going to hold on to this podium up here, because when I start moving my hands and talking, the Louisiana really comes out. But, you know, it's so awesome to see those videos and things of that nature. I'm truly humbled to be able to play here, come to Charlotte. My wife and I made our home here, and this place was great. We were a young couple, young family, moved here with a 3-month-old and lived here for 7 years until I started throwing too many interceptions in Bank of America Stadium, and we had to move on. I had to move on to Cleveland, of all places. So I guess that was my parting shot. You know, you leave Charlotte to go to Cleveland, but that's the life of the NFL. That's the way it goes, and that's how it happened. I wouldn't change it for one bit. Listen, I'm not here to try to give you some motivational speech. You probably don't want to hear that. I've heard many talks in my life, many of them good, many of them bad. So I'm going to try my best to keep this as light as possible. I'm going to touch on this year's team a little bit, and I'll tell a few stories of our time here in Carolina. And then I think Jim Szoke and I will have a little Q&A. So football, to me, I was listening when I first sat in here, some of the highlights from the guys that spoke prior at the Touchdown Club. And like Matt Rule talked about it being the greatest game. And I agree with him. I just think there's something about it. And it's what the huddle consists of. And that huddle consists of 10 other guys, so 11 guys in the huddle, that they don't care what color you're from, where you're from, how you speak, obviously, and they don't care. What can we do to make this next play successful? And everybody has to be in unison. Certainly there's times where, you know, somebody will make a great individual play, but it's 11 guys all working together. I mean, if you have a running back that makes a long run on the right-hand side, the reason he made that run, sure, the blocking in the front, but it's the backside receiver that made sure he cut off the backside safety so that guy couldn't push him out of bounds. Everybody's got to work together. It's not like a baseball pitcher can truly shut down a team, or if you get a stud in a basketball game, he can kind of take over. There's just something about football, the adversity you're going to face, and everybody pulling together. And that's why I just think it's the greatest game. And it's and I think that's why the NFL is so popular. It's one game a week. It's not like there's multiple games a week, so each and every game truly means something. And there's nothing better than preparing your tail off week in and week out, all day long, in the evening, early in the morning, getting your body right, getting your mind right to win a game and to go in a locker room after a game with, you know, 53 other guys or 52 other guys on a roster, and just watch them grown men act like children before the media comes in. There's nothing like it. I think it's great, and that's the purest form, and that's what I love so much about this game. Like Szoke said, I'm from Louisiana. I stayed home. I went to college at my local college. It was Southwestern Louisiana at the time, the Raging Cajuns. Now it's Louisiana Lafayette. I was lucky enough to go to the New Orleans Saints. I was an undrafted rookie free agent. So I signed with the Saints. I made the practice squad the first year. The last 6-7 weeks of the season, they brought me back after I went through training camp. And I got sent to NFL Europe in 1998. And NFL Europe is a spring league that no longer exists, but it was something that the NFL started, and it was in 6 cities over in Europe. And that was a great proving ground, so to speak, for younger guys that just needed some more playing time. And a very small roster, so I get sent over. I go to Amsterdam. There's 2 quarterbacks in camp. We go through camp, and I remember calling home, telling my mom and dad and my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, you know, this other quarterback's not bad. He's a good guy. You know, he's kind of accurate. He's pretty good. So camp goes along. I don't start. I'm backing up this guy. So here I am, 21 years old. Maybe I think I just turned 22, and I'm a backup in NFL Europe. Not much confidence going into the NFL, to be quite honest. I was backing up Kurt Warner, by the way. So I knew he was accurate. I knew he was a good guy, and it did my heart warm to see him be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So I was like, okay, I didn't know yet, but I was like, man, I know I belong. I could just see it. I wasn't that naive enough when I was at practice with the Saints. Like, I'm just as big as these guys. My arm, the same, if not strong. I kind of knew. So was able to go back to the Saints, went to training camp. Gosh, you see me starting to use my hands again? That Louisiana's coming out. I make the roster. And the only reason I make the roster in 1998, Heath Schuler was one of the quarterbacks for the Saints, and there was a conditioning test that was done right when we got to camp. Heath, it was a vertical jump type of test. He popped a ligament in his foot, and he was done for the year. So instead of them bringing somebody else in, they're going to give the little young kid some extra plays, and I was able to make the most of it. I did well in practice. I was prepared and went on and made the roster for 6 weeks until somebody decided to quit the Carolina Panthers, and that was Kerry Collins. And so the Saints claimed him, so Kerry Collins takes my job. I go from the roster to the practice squad. So, just had to keep on going. Finished that season, got sent to NFL Europe one more time, was able to start and play for the Frankfurt Galaxy, and we were able to win it all and win the World Bowl, so that was great. Back to New Orleans. Mike Ditka was our coach at that time. Ended up playing a game late in that. I made the team, played a game late in that season. Christmas Eve, we played against the Dallas Cowboys, my first start and only game on TV, and we were terrible. We were 2-12. We were 2-12 at the time. Chan Gailey was their head coach. Troy Aikman was the quarterback, and Emmitt Smith was still playing, and they were trying to make the playoffs, and we beat them. We upset them, and needless to say, it was a good Christmas Eve, to say the least, and good Christmas. So Mike Dickey gets, then I get the rude awakening of starting again the next week, and it's Y2K. So we come up early to Charlotte. We're playing Steve Berline and the Carolina Panthers, and they put up PlayStation numbers on us. They beat us like 50-something to 10 because they needed to score so many points. They were going up against Green Bay. It was something like that to get into the playoffs. So that was my first taste of Charlotte, and Kevin Green sacked me 3 times, and they carried him off the field that day. I'll never forget that. So Jim Haslett comes into New Orleans as the head coach. Mike McCarthy, the head coach of the Cowboys, is the offensive coordinator. And that's when my football eyes to the NFL opened up. I truly got taught how to prepare, how to go through an offseason, how to learn an NFL playbook, and how to study NFL defenses and things of that nature. And things worked out for me for 3 years in New Orleans. I was a third string, then the backup for 2 years. Then free agency came up. And I had a chance to go to 2 places to compete for a starting job. One was in Dallas for the Dallas Cowboys, and the other one was in Carolina, to come to Carolina. And I'll be honest with you, it was a very hard decision. All my life, grew up in South Louisiana. Yes, I like the Saints, but I certainly enjoyed the Dallas Cowboys. I was a huge fan of the Dallas Cowboys growing up. From the Drew Pearson, the Randy Whitehead, Too Tall Jones, Robert Newhouse, that was kind of my era. And every ounce of my being, I'll be honest with you, wanted to be in Dallas. One of my dear friends signed with Dallas the day earlier, a punter, Toby Goen was his name. We were teammates in New Orleans, and financially the money wasn't right. And we had just had a child, my wife did, so we just had our first child, and there's some important things in my life that I need to take care of. It's not just me being selfish. So, kind of wasn't sure exactly what to do, and I'll never forget, it was late one afternoon, and Bill Parcells was the head coach. Jerry Jones was not there. He was flying in later that night, and if I would have stayed, I would have met him the next morning. And my wife was like, just stay and meet him. She goes, just talk with him. And so we're on the phone, and I'm listening to her, and I'm going back and forth, and I remember looking up, and I'm at this desk. This office, they just made me go in to use the phone. I don't think I had a cell phone at that time. And the office that I'm in, and I'm not paying attention to the desk or anything, and it's every different little size note. And it's a little sticky note, a bigger note, larger, and at the top of it was Charlotte, 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 Charlotte. I look at it, and that was Charlotte Jones, Jerry Jones's daughter. That was her office. And so I look at it, and I tell my wife, I'm coming home. I hung up the phone, and I was like, that's the good Lord talking to me. I need to be in Charlotte. And I swear to you, listen, that's not made up. I swear to you. That's how I came to Charlotte. That was the final decision. And I'm glad I did. To come here to play, this city. This city is it's something special. It's I tell people that all the time, or guys that play for the Panthers. You don't understand what Charlotte's like. This place was great to us. Yes, we did have some success on the field, but we also had some rough times, and I was the leader of some of those rough times. And that's the thing that I appreciate so much about Charlotte. My young daughter, she was at St. Matthew's at the time, and we were on the soccer field. She would play soccer, and I wasn't going to hide. I mean, it's not her fault that I wasn't playing worth the flip toward the end of my career. So, I mean, I'm out there on the soccer, but people were so respectful. I never had to worry about being heckled or things of that nature, and that's just kind of embodies Charlotte and what Charlotte always meant to me. And so, yeah, certainly disappointing whenever you get fired. I was cut. I was fired. That's what it was. My play warranted that. I wasn't supposed to be the quarterback. I wasn't good anymore. So go to Cleveland, and then I finish up in Houston my last year in 2011. So lucky enough to play a part in 3 decades, and the NFL's been great to me, and it's been a whole lot of fun. I certainly love it. I'm honored to be back to call the games on radio for the Panthers. That was something that might have been in the works for a while. I didn't want to miss much of my daughters playing sports on the weekends and things like that. So I'm enjoying the heck out of it. It is a whole lot of fun. If some of you do listen to it, hopefully you can feel my enthusiasm and passion for the Carolina Panthers through the radio, because I make no bones about it. I'm not ashamed of it. I mean, I'm on the radio. We're pulling for the Panthers to win. And the last couple of years have been hard. I don't think there's any doubt. It's been hard to call. It's been hard to watch sometimes. And that's the NFL. It's not easy. But I truly believe, and I'm not just saying this because I have Panther blue sunglasses on, I truly believe this is a football team that's moving in the right direction. I was lucky enough to come in early yesterday morning and spend all day at the facility, which haven't been able to do the last 2 years due to COVID. So that was nice just to kind of be back around and watch them practice. And I can honestly say from the bottom of my heart, this is a different football team. It looks and it smells different. And this is not just the Panther fandom coming out. This team looks and smells different. I think we addressed the offensive line, a couple of critical areas that we needed. Love the kid, Hickory, that we drafted. Pretty impressive to see him in person yesterday. Everybody wants to have comps and you compare people and whatnot. I'm not comparing him to this guy, but when I looked at him on the field yesterday, big, large man, huge upper body, but little ankles. And there's nothing to me that I love a tackle with little ankles. Willie Rofe is one of the best football players I've ever played with. He was a first-round pick of the New Orleans Saints. He's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Willie Rofe had the smallest ankles, but he could move. And I was so happy to see that yesterday. I thought that was awesome. That's how sick my mind is. Well, I went to college, I graduated, and I guess I got a PhD in football. That's all I ever did. That's all I maybe kind of know. And then just looking at this whole team in general, let's just kind of stay on the offensive side of the ball. Getting a couple of other linemen was really critical. I think we had 14 different starting lineups in 17 games last year. In case you didn't know it, Christian McCaffrey's pretty good. He looked every bit of it yesterday. Can we keep him healthy? I hope so, because he is just such a difference maker for this football team. Watching the wide receivers, I think we have a budding superstar in DJ Moore. I'm just not so sure we ever had a quarterback to kind of showcase him, to be quite honest. I think DJ Moore is a budding superstar. So hopefully we can kind of get that. We traded for this guy, Laviska Shenault. He looks different. He is a grown man. To watch him yesterday. Robbie Anderson's speed looked really good on the field. Tight end wise, we're getting some guys healthy back, and we're going to finish with the quarterback. I don't think there's any doubt. Med Baker for the first time yesterday. Spent a little time with him, but he's a thick guy. He's a fiery guy, and he has some thump on the football. The ball really jumps out of his hands, and so you have a guy who's excited to play, who's excited to be here, and hopefully it works out great. I left and I went to Cleveland, and I did absolutely nothing because I was at the end. So hopefully he went to Cleveland and he can come here, and this can be a start of a run. Just kind of do it in reverse. So, and the defensive side of the football, I think we got a couple of superstars. I think Brian Burns, we've already seen him, what he's done, and he's starting to look different. And what I mean by that, Thomas Davis was out there yesterday, and when we drafted Thomas out of Georgia in 2005, Thomas was a 20-year-old free safety. was light, and he grew into a man. I think we all know you start to kind of get that grown man strength at some point of your life. Thomas grew into that about year 4 or 5 and became an absolutely great player. Brian Burns, he's starting to look that way. He's starting to look like that guy. Derek Brown, first round pick a couple of years ago, would like to see him take that next step. I think it's close. We need to stay healthy up front on the defensive line. I don't think there's any doubt. That's going to be key. I'm not sure the depth we have is great. You never know before the season starts if we add anything to that. Linebacker-wise, Shaq Thompson back out in the field. That was always great to see. Have a couple of other veterans we signed. So hopefully they can stay healthy there. And in our secondary, you want to talk about if we pull up in a bus with the Carolina Panthers, I want my secondary to walk off the bus first. When Jeremy Chin walks off the bus and then J.C. Horn walks up after him, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. Chin is a grown man, and J.C. Horn, I saw him when he was 1 and 2 years old in the locker room for the Saints. I was teammates with his dad at that time, and he has grown into a man. So getting Dante Jackson back. So there's a chance, guys. I truly believe that. I believe in the optimism for this football team, and I truly believe we can do some things, because there's always that team that surprises in the NFL. Each and every year the team comes out and kind of surprises everyone. And why not us, right? Why not us? And if we can get consistent quarterback play. So I'm hopeful. I'm excited. I'm ready to get this season started. And before I wrap up, people love stories and things of that nature. I hope I didn't bore you with a little bit of my background in this team. But I was writing down just a couple of stories yesterday, just thinking there's numerous. But, that first game I went in at halftime against Jacksonville, I replaced Rodney Peete. And Rodney Peete was a true gentleman, a true pro in every sense of the word. And that's the greatest compliment I can ever give somebody, is they're a pro. And Rodney was such a great supporter for me in that year, my first year starting. And we're playing Tampa Bay in November of that year. We're 7-2. We're having a pretty good run. They were off of winning the Super Bowl the year prior. We beat them week 2 in Tampa. Our defense beat them, and Steve Smith beat them. It wasn't me. I didn't play well that game. I realized what a fast NFL defense looked like, and my little eyes weren't ready for that day. But the season went on. Things started slowing down, and we're playing them without Stephen Davis. And, he was our bell cow that year. And sure enough, I was feisty. I played with my heart on my sleeve. And when I try to run the football, not often, obviously, but I'd run, and I'd try to run toward a defender, and I'd try to slide real late, just to try to get a cheap 15 yards. I mean, look, you're not cheating, you're not trying. I'm trying. So I run, and we're near our sideline, and I slide. And John Lynch pulls up, and I can't use the words he says, but he pointed at me, and he goes, "Hey, do it again. I'm going to take your head off." And so I talked a lot. He probably didn't understand what I said, so I got up, and I said something back, and Rodney Peete is on the sideline next to me because I was near our sideline. And Rodney and John were teammates at one point. And, Rodney starts talking back to John, and John looks at him and goes, "Rodney, tell him I will take his head off if he does that again." So Rodney's kind of talking smack. So John turns, Rodney grabs me before I go back to the huddle, and he goes, "Hey, if you don't slide earlier next time," he said, "I'm going to kill you. I am not going back in that football game." So that was Rodney Peete all the way. It was that was a funny moment that happened during the game. I thought that was great. Just a couple of more. One of them, I'd like to tell you how smart football players are. I was hosting a Christmas party at my house for the team. This was the 2004 season, and we played Atlanta on the Saturday night. We were going to have the party on the Sunday night at the house, and my wife had done all that, sent out the invitations and whatnot. Well, we're going to pregame meal. Pregame meal was always 4 hours before kickoff. I get on the elevator with I'm not going to say his name, but one of our players on the team. And we get in there, and he said, "Hey, man, I think me and my girl are going to your house tomorrow night for the party." I'm not thinking about a party 4 hours before a game. I mean, like, I'm kind of focus mode. I said, "Okay, great, no problem." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm not sure if my girl VSIP'd for it or not, but we're going to be there." So I stopped for a second, and I said, I didn't have the nerve to tell him, "You mean RSVP?" And I just stopped, and I said, "Thank goodness you're an NFL football player, buddy." I said, because I don't know what else you're going to do. So that was always kind of fun. And we're playing Dallas in the playoffs it was what, January 2nd or 3rd, whatever it was, our 03 season, but it was January, so 2004. And it's in the second quarter, and we're driving. I think we're up 10-0 or something like that at the time. And we're on the 23-yard line, and it's 3rd and 10. And so we're going in. And the play comes in, and I remember getting it, and I remember looking at my wrist, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I can't believe we're calling this at this time. And Muhsin Muhammad could see the disgust in my face, and he goes, what is it? And I said, bleep and run. And Moose goes, change it. And I thought, I mean, every ounce of me wanted to, and I did, no, we're just running it. So I called it, zero flood fig, 32F bomb. So it's a handoff right up the middle. I handed it to Stephen Davis. He went untouched into the end zone and scored, like untouched. The crowd's going crazy. We celebrating. We come off the field. I'm running off. Moose puts his arm around me, and he says, I told you not to change it. I told you that play was going to work. So I'll be honest with you. Those things happen in the NFL. I'm telling you. Like, it's not we think it's serious sometimes. And this is one more. Everybody loves Steve Smith, right? I mean, look, what he's done for his size, his stature, and we all know Steve was that pit bull. I mean, he would fight you to the end, and that's what made him so great. And that's why he's really good at what he does, especially on TV now. But Steve he always had to have that something just to be in his crawl. I mean, that's what made him great. So on Wednesday morning, that's when our work week so-called starts as the NFL. Everybody goes to work on Monday morning. Ours is kind of Wednesday, so to speak. So I would get the game plan faxed to me, shows you our age, right, on Tuesday nights. And I would kind of go over it with the quarterback coach, just kind of see what's new and what's not. And on Wednesday morning, when you get to the stadium, your game plan book is on your seat in your locker. So there's 53 guys on a roster. That's not a ton of guys. And so the 4 guys that were always there very early were Steve Smith, Ricky Prohl, myself, and Chris Mangan. We used to get there pretty early. And so I get there. Steve had already been in, he had already showered, and he was in Steve mode. And this is like late October. So we're doing okay. Ricky Prohl was sitting at his locker right next to where Steve's locker. Mine was a little further down, and Chris Mangan was right across. And it's a rectangle locker room. So really and truly, we're 10, 15 yards from each other in essence. And Steve Smith looked at me in disgust, and he said, same old damn plays again this week. Just like that. And I stopped. I was walking into the shower, and I looked at him, and I said, who leads the league in catches? Me? I said, who leads the league in yards? And he just stared directly at me, and he said, me? And I said, who leads the league in touchdowns? Screw you. And he walked out. He just walked out, and Ricky Prohl just started hollering, laughing. But that was the greatness of Steve Smith. He led the league in all 3 categories, finished the year leading the league in all 3 categories. But it was that constant, I want more. I want to be the best. And that was something that I always thought, that's how that team resonated with John Fox. That was kind of special, being a part of that. That was a lot of fun. And I'm going to finish my last one with the great Sam Mills. Sam Mills was one of my idols before I ever got to Carolina. A member of the New Orleans Saints famed Dome Patrol. He was a field mouse. Just loved Sam to death. More in awe when I first came here in 2003, and I saw him in March. We're working out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Sam Mills. Like, to myself, I was in awe because I was such a fan of the Dome Patrol back in those days in the 80s with the New Orleans Saints. Then you get to meet the man, and he's just, everything you might have seen or heard about him was true. And so he gets diagnosed with intestinal cancer, stomach cancer in August of that year. And we all know it was a death sentence. Everybody knew, and it was a big blow to the football team. And that was it was inspirational to us because he coached every day. He was there every day. He'd take chemo, and he would be out there coaching and never wanted anybody to feel sorry for him. Well, we played Dallas the week before Thanksgiving, that 2003 season, in Cowboy Stadium, and we lost that day. I didn't play that well. I think we lost 24-20, got hit a bunch. We played on the old AstroTurf, and that wasn't fun to play on the old AstroTurf. You kind of were hurting for a few days after. And it was the Wednesday. Like I said, that's our first day of the week. And so we're walking out, and we're the only team in the NFL that has this. I mean, we would walk amongst the people in the city to head to our practice field, in case you didn't know it. I mean, you leave the stadium and you walk down. And so I'm walking out, and as I'm going through, I'm processing the new plays in my head. Body's not feeling the best. Joints are kind of hurting. And it's starting to get chilly. You know, that middle November type of weather in Charlotte. And there's a train station that runs right on the side of the stadium. So it's a little valley in between the stadium and the train tracks. And so the wind blows pretty good. So I get out the weight room and I'm making my walk, and the wind's blowing, and I remember just kind of like, ugh, you know, and I'm acting like a little baby, right? And I'm like, you know, processing this. I didn't play well. My body's kind of hurting. Somebody runs right past me and slaps me on the butt. All right, Big Jake, let's see if we can go get better this week and get us a win. And it was Sam Mills, and he's running out to practice. And I was like, my grow up to welcome to the NFL moment. I'm walking, and I say to myself, you not tough person. I said, here's a guy who I know, he knows, we all know he's dying of cancer. He's running out to the practice fields to go run 110-yard sprints before practice starting, and then he's going to coach his tail off, and then he's going to go to the hospital after, and then he's going to come back after the hospital. And that kind of, that made me kind of say, you need to grow up. But that was Sam Mills, and I always thought, you hear so many stories about him, but that was something, there wasn't anybody around. It was just he and I, and just in that moment. So when I talk of Sam Mills and I feel kind of a special connection, or how Charlotte feels about him, that's who he was, and that's exactly who he was. So I appreciate you letting me take a few moments of your time, talk a little bit, kind of preview a little bit of this year's team. I know Szoke's about ready to come up. Some of these stories, I thought they were funny. There's many more, and I appreciate the Charlotte Touchdown Club once again, John Rocco and everyone. It's always good to be back. This is a special place. It's a great place, and hopefully the Panthers can do well this year, and we can have a lot of fun calling games on the radio. So I think we might have a couple of question and answer here, and we'll go from there. Thank you, guys.
There you go. Jake Delhomme, you knew who he was. So here's what we're going to do is think about a question you'll have, and we'll try to spread it around the room. We've done this in the past. When you ask your question, remain standing. We'll ask you a trivia question. The trivia question, it's an open book test. We've given you the answers between his talk, what I said, set up, so you should already have the answers. They won't be too hard. And then Jake will throw you the football.
Let's nobody intercept it, please.
Did everyone sign the waivers? Did you sign the waivers? We've had iced tea splatter. We've had Phillip Rivers do this, Brett Favre. So Jake, just while I'm talking, you got 2 light stanchions here. You got some chandeliers. That's your defense. Hey, real quick before we start doing that, Baker Mayfield, this reporter brought up this topic this week. She basically misquoted him, attributed something to him that he didn't really say. What was your take on all that?
Yeah, in case you don't know what we're talking about, there was a report yesterday, I think, that came out, or 2 days, and certainly quarterback, you're a lightning rod, and certainly it's a juicy storyline with Baker coming here, and oh gosh, we just so happened to open up with Cleveland. How amazing is that? And there was a talk of, he said, I hope we kind of get after them, to say the least. And, that to me, it bothers me. It bothers me because I've kind of watched every interview he's done since he's been here. Met him for the first time yesterday, so I can't say there's a deep history with he and I. But just watching how he's handled himself when he was named the starter, how he did say, yeah, it's going to be emotional. Do I want to win? Absolutely. But for a reporter to say, hey, I'm sure you're going to want to, beat the crap out of him, and he's kind of walking off, yeah, I want to beat the crap out of him, and then it's a big storyline. That's something that I think so much is made of it, maybe too much is made out of it. And it's kind of funny, this morning, Jordan Gross and I, former left tackle, we do a little podcast weekly during the season on Panthers.com, and we addressed that, and we talked about it. And Jordan said something to the effect of, yeah, I never went into a game worried if the other team said something about me. He said that's kind of just never my mindset in the least bit. I never cared about it, and I was the same way. I never thought bulletin board material won or lost the game. I never thought a speech won or lost the game. I thought preparation and execution won or lost the game. So a lot's been said of it, and it was just something that, I don't know. It's just, I guess the NFL is searching for storylines right now.
Yep. Nice little moment, but Baker addressed it, I thought, beautifully yesterday. And
yeah.
He didn't say what was said that he said, so.
Yeah, we played the Saints. It was the 4th game of the year in 2003. I came from the Saints, and they didn't think I was good enough. and you try to say all the right things, but what you want me to say? Of course I want to beat him. I want to kill him. I want to destroy him. I mean, that's what you want. So I kind of love it. I kind of like having that little edge.
I like that. All right. So just show of hands if you got a question for Jake. We'll do your questions, and we'll throw one back at you for trivia. Who wants to go first? Oh, the football's taking him out. Okay, we'll go here on the left side. Yes, sir. Talk loud.
Oh, wow. Listen, my greatest achievement certainly not anything to do with sports. I'm happily married for 22 years, and I got a beautiful 19-year-old and a 15-year-old. So I'd have to say those. I mean, like, yeah, that was my greatest achievement. I'm very, very lucky in that regard.
Good answer. All right. You can stand where you are because
That's
Jake
sad. I'm licking
Delhomme
my
is a
fingers to
professional
throw a ball.
quarterback.
It's terrible.
He's trying to come closer. He's trying to run a hitch route. This is supposed to be like a 7 route. We didn't ask the question yet. Oh. But sir, we did it out of order, so we're supposed to ask you a trivia question, and then we throw it. But anyways, we mentioned the longest Super Bowl touchdown pass in history, Jake Delhomme. Who caught the ball? Are you familiar with the cartoon Bullwinkle? What is Bullwinkle? Moose. Moose, correct. Yes, sir.
You got it. Musin Muhammad.
So for future reference, so John Rocco doesn't yell at me, we'll ask the question, then we'll throw the football. Who wants to ask a question? Oh, nice and easy. We got a little check down route here. Yes, sir.
You know what?
You asked about Matt Corral.
I really wish we drafted him. I think Matt's got some talent, and I was hoping he would have a redshirt type of season, to be very honest with you. I didn't like that he's actually going to miss the whole season with a foot injury. I mean, I think that's the thing that it's a double-edged sword, but I truly believe this will be good for Matt. You know, yes, he did play in the SEC, but that was kind of a very wide-open offense. This is very different. I think you saw some flashes during the preseason, but I think you did see some things where, you know, a year would do him well. And that's the thing that it's like, what have you done for me yesterday in the NFL? I mean, it's like no time to develop. I was 6 years as a practice squad, a third stringer, a second stringer. I was ready maybe my fourth year, third year. I thought, okay, I'm ready now. But it's just like we don't give guys enough time. And I look at it, was 27, turned 28 my first year in Carolina. My first opportunity, and we have two young quarterbacks in Sam and Baker. They're 25 and 26. It's like we don't, I just hope we give him time to develop, and maybe it works out down the line. But disappointed for him, not physically being out there, but mentally he can really gain leaps and bounds this year.
Ready? Do you have a question? You want me to ask one? You go. Since you brought it up, Matt Corral went to what college?
In the same conference.
Same conference. Extra chances.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. The table collectively answered that one. Ole Miss, correctly. Here you go, sir.
Yeah, nice and easy. Nice.
All right. Nice. Can we mention, Jake, that you recently had shoulder surgery, or is that?
Do what now?
You had little shoulder surgery
recently? I had shoulder surgery about 7 weeks ago, and I blamed Jordan Gross. So it was my left shoulder.
It's a left.
I said if you would have blocked a little better, I wouldn't have had to have something.
But like Baker was the non-throwing shoulder. All right. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Nice and loud.
Sure. So I know where he's going with this. Unfortunately, I know this man.
You're a ringer. He's a ringer.
And he used to work for the Panthers. And so, listen, I'm a prankster. I like to have, we're going to work hard, but we're going to play hard. We're going to have a good time. And, you know, needless to say, when you're around guys, you're grown-ups, okay? And you're playing a child's game. And so when you have breaks, during the season gets long, and, you know, there's bathrooms right in the locker room. And so if somebody had to take a bathroom break, there was always a Gatorade cooler, and you just run, you dip it in the ice tub real quick, and it was badoosh right over the top of the stall. And so that led to fights and things of that nature. Well, I was one that I loved doing pranks, and I didn't like getting caught. So sure enough, one day during the season, later in the season, you know, I have a sweatshirt on and whatnot, and we had a little break before something, and I said it on purpose, like, oh gosh, I got to go to the restroom real quick. And so I go in the restroom, and And sure enough, you like little girls whisper. And sure enough, you see it, and sure enough, boom, over the top. Well, I had an umbrella hidden in my pants, and I sat and I had the umbrella, and sure enough, I stood up over the stall, and I said, y'all think, and I swear it was the whole team in the bathroom looking like this. They were furious. So that was something that we like to do a good bit, but yeah.
All right, Pete, stand up. Other than Jordan Gross, name one of the Panthers' starting offensive linemen from the Super Bowl 38 team. Pete, who worked for the Panthers at one time. Wrong year.
Okay.
Super Bowl 38.
Did you hear the question the guy asked? Hey, Kevin Donnelly said. Kevin Donnelly, there you go. Nice. Here you go, Pete.
All right, there we go. Let's get somebody back this way. You want to get a question over here? All right, right here? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You were not, or you were?
Fan of the Bojangles.
You are, okay.
Bojangles commercials, yeah.
Because those were award-winning, in case you didn't know. Listen, those Bojangles commercials, I get teased to this day by friends, and like, they'll go back, I'll get a text just out the blue from buddies, and it'll be one of these. But I tell you, probably one of the most fun we had doing one, and it was about as silly as could be. It was the General Lee, and we're driving. We're in an empty parking lot in downtown Charlotte, Steve and I, outside after OTAs, and we're sitting in the General Lee, and we're acting as if we're driving the car. And that's what we're doing, and we're trying to be actors here. And we're eating fried chicken at the same time, and we're acting like we're jumping. So that was, I enjoyed doing those commercials, but that was one that was like, what are we doing here? But you know what? People loved it, and I'll tell you why I enjoyed it so much, because players were jealous. Other guys on the team wanted to be in those commercials. They didn't want to say it, and at Wofford College, when you go to camp, you'd walk down. There's a walk down, and that's what's so great about camp. The interaction with the fans. I mean, they're there. And the people, at least they said they loved it. I don't know, but we enjoyed doing them very, very much. Those were a lot of fun.
All right, stand up. Are you a big Panther fan or just medium, knowledge-wise? Let's try a tougher one. The double overtime throw, Steve Smith, you brought up, beat the Rams in double overtime. What was the name of that play? The table can help them. Anybody at the table know it?
Okay, I'm going to say it.
All right.
So the name of the play was X-Clown, and it's kind of funny. I have racehorses, third generation, thoroughbred racehorses, and I try to name them something to do with football, and every now and then I'll name them after players, and I always wanted to name a horse after Steve Smith. And Smitty just kind of never, well, sure enough, I named one, I bought one, and he was not the biggest, but just muscle-bound and had a little attitude. I named him Steve Smith. He is my largest money-earning racehorse I've ever owned, and I still own him to this day, and that's a fact.
Thank you, sir. All right, I want to get one to the back row if we can. Is anybody in the back corner? What do you think, Jake? Back right corner? Corner, little quarter
I can
fade?
reach it, but we're going to hit the ceiling, so he might have to come up a little closer.
Okay. Go ahead and step closer, ask your question, then we'll work out the play alignment.
Wow. Who did I get hit the hardest? So I got hit a couple of times where I got knocked a little fuzzy. I will say that. But one hit that stuck out to me, 2003, we're playing Washington at the time in this stadium. And Bruce Smith ended his career with Washington. And he needed like one more sack, either to break some record or to go, it was something. And all week long, that's all we talked about. And Todd Stussy was our left tackle that year. Hey, step up, step up, step up. Don't let, we didn't want to let him get it. And so we're playing in the third quarter. We're moving right to left in the stadium. I remember like yesterday. And like nobody's open. And there's a check down to Stephen Davis. And I turn to go to throw it. And right as I'm going to throw it, I hear, "Get rid of it, Jake." And I let it go, and I get hit in my back. I have rib protectors on. I get hit, and I hit the ground, and I'm like, what just hit me? Like, what was that? That didn't seem normal. And I looked, and those big pearly whites were like, almost got you, Jake, almost got you. It was Bruce Smith. And he's 37 years of age. He has no legs left. So I just was thinking to myself after the game, what was he like at 27 years of age hitting quarterback? So a 37-year-old Bruce Smith hit me in my back, and I swear I'd never been hit like that before. So that was probably the hardest hit that I remembered. I won't be able to reach. I'm going to hit the ceiling. You're going to have to come.
Yeah. I got to ask you a question, though. What game did Jake come in 2003 at halftime? What was his first game? It was on the video board. It's in Florida. It's in northern Florida. It's not Tampa. It's not Miami. Jaguars. Good job.
Good.
All right. Here we go. Follow your quarterback. Oh, went over the shoulder. What?
That was a terrible throw. That was a hell of a catch.
That was a nice catch and throw. Let's hear it for Jake Delhomme, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Good job. Thank you, buddy. Good job. We are done. Thank you, guys. Have a great Labor Day weekend. Thank you to our sponsors, Char Bar 7, and the folks over at Hickory Tavern. Of course, our media partner, Radio 1, WFNZ, WBT. Next gathering, October 21st. Featured speaker will be Chris Berman. Have a great weekend.